Hello and welcome to, or welcome back to, Styx Media. It's that time of the month again, time for the monthly book review, and for the month of October we are reviewing something a little bit more creepy. We are reviewing Disappearance at Devil's Rock by Paul Tremblay. When I started reading this, I thought this was going to be more supernatural, more paranormal-centric, because it does have a review by Stephen King right here on the front that says, "Uber creepy, don't miss this one." It ended up being more... It was a little bit creepy, but not as creepy as, like, a Stephen King or even an Anne Rice novel. It definitely had a bit of a creep factor. So, basically, a 13-year-old boy named Tommy goes missing, and his mom sees what she perceives to be a figure of him in her room, and he's all hunched over and he looks zombified. So she believes that he's alive, but something happened at this national park that they live nearby, at a rock called Devil's Rock, or Split Rock is what the locals call it, but all the teenagers know it as Devil's Rock. And there's a whole story about why it's called Devil's Rock, and I'm not going to give that away. But so it ends up being that they meet a man who ends up hanging out with them, and he becomes a prime suspect in the disappearance. So weird stuff starts happening around the house, but part of it is not really that weird as you read the book. There's an explanation to it. But at times it really did creep me out. At other times I was going, oh, well, that makes sense. But it definitely kept my attention. I wanted to know what happened to Tommy, and at the end of the story, you do find out what happened to him. And there's just a little bit of more creepiness right at the end, but it was entertaining. It was interesting to read. The author has a tendency to... The author, Paul Tremblay, at least with this novel, I don't know about his other novels, but he has a tendency to write as though he's a third party witnessing everything happening and writing it down right then. So, for example, he writes this way: Elizabeth is not dreaming. There's a ringing sound coming from far away, from elsewhere in the house. Not the ringing of actual bells, but the digital trill of the landline phone. To me, that's present tense, as though everything's happening as he's writing it, which was a little bit jarring for me, because I'm used to everything happening like past tense, like so and so did this, or I said this, or this character said this as they did this. It's like the story's being told after the fact. This, he writes it as though it's happening as you're reading it, which was a little weird to read, but I got used to it by the end of the book. So, but yeah, I recommend, if you want something different, if you want a different writing style, definitely pick this up. He's got a bunch of other books. I don't know if I'll read them, because the more I think of it, the more I didn't really like that writing style. I like being told a story, but I don't like being told a story in such a way that, like, I'm right there. If that makes sense. Anyways, as always, if there's any books you guys want me to check out or review in the future, be sure to leave a comment down below. If I have it, I'll set it aside. If I don't have it, I'll think about getting it. I'll try and get it. And, yeah. we'll see you next month.